So you want to learn Ojibwe language and culture. You've come to the right place, need you to learn about it all. Welcome to Nanabuju, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. Buju, Nanabuju, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Stanley of KISS, and you are watching Buju Nanabuju, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture.
Yeah.
Now please welcome the star of the show, Nanabuju. Take it away, boss.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul Stanley. That was a very nice introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Stanley from KISS. Oh, look who's over here.
Hey there, baby doll.
And the lovely and talented Natasha.
Bonjour, Kakina Ayan. Hello, everybody.
And look over here. Look who's here today.
It's Michael Lyons.
Yep, the rock star cartoonist. Ikadon Bonjour, Michael Lyons. Say hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. And today, who me? I'm Nanabuju. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our live stream show where we talk about very serious things. You kids, sit up straight. We're about to discuss the sacred teachings of our ancestors, of the Anishinaabe. No. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Are you doing good on this Nano Geisha good?
I'm doing great on this Nano Geisha good. The fifth day.
The fifth day. Now, Gwen, I don't want you to get any ideas. This does not mean the 5th of Jack Daniels Day.
Hey, don't say that about Gwen.
Cool. Bonjour, Gwen. Let's get a gold star for Gwen Carley.
Bonjour, Gwen.
And John Redcorn's here too, sweetie.
Well, bonjour, John.
What's up, my Niji? Give him the silver star. And Diane's here. Bonjour, Diane.
Hey, Diane, bonjour. Let's get her the bronze star.
And a bronze star. Wait, did we do that right? Gwen, John, then Diane. Yep. And Wigglebutt Farms here. Bonjour, Wigglebutt.
Hey, Wigglebutt Farm.
Diane says, whew, I'm not first or second, but at least I get bronze. That's right, you get bronze. There's no shame in coming in third. You're still better than Wigglebutt Farms. Sorry, Wigglebutt. You're first loser.
No, don't say that.
Nano Geisha good. This is our day for Friday. This is our word for Friday. And today, maybe I should just jump right into it, sweetie. I mean, Ruby is here. She doesn't want to wait around. She's here to learn.
Is Ruby here?
Yep.
Hey, bonjour, Ruby.
How's it going? And MJ's here. MJ, so nice to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Bonjour, MJ.
Ads, or I would have beat Diane. Yep, we gotta pay for the lights in this place. And by the way, miigwech, for your support to the show. I also like to thank. I feel like I shouldn't give names for some reason. Is that what's known as doxing somebody?
I don't know.
In any case, Mary, if you're watching today, miigwech for your very generous GoFundMe contribution yesterday. GoFundMe's still working.
Yeah, it's great.
So we got some Junia from MJ, some Junia from Mary. Last name is our business, not You guys is? I'm sure she wouldn't care. Still. And Nancy Schmancy's back. Nancy Schmancy's in the house. Is she in the house? Yep. That's what the kids call it. That's what the kids called it in the 90s. Oh, yeah. And Sequoia, bonjour, Sequoia. Sequoia just signed up too. Hey, bonjour, Sequoia. What's up? All right. So this Friday, I was clowning around first thing this morning, surfing the internets as I'm known to do. Yeah, you people know that you do that. Yeah. I'm that one guy in America who watches YouTube videos. And this morning, I stumbled across, it's probably the second book I ever owned. Corduroy. I love Corduroy. Yeah. Do you guys remember a book called Corduroy? Michael, did you ever read Corduroy? Oh yeah, I loved Corduroy. That book had a huge influence on my art and stuff. Yeah, I was thinking about that. This book is really, I think it's kind of the precursor, or it planted the seeds for what became Little Cutie. Michael Lyons, for anybody new to the show, is a rock star cartoonist. When he's not being a rock star, he draws cartoons and children's books and that, and comics. But I stumbled across this, and I watched a review where somebody just read the book. And by the end, I had tears in my eyes. Why? Because it was so beautiful. I don't know. I think I also got kind of sentimental about something. So I want to give a quick review of the book Corduroy. Kids, Corduroy is a book that was written way back in the days of the grandfathers by somebody named Don Freeman. Don Freeman was Morgan Freeman's dad. Is that true? I have no idea. Probably not. I just made that up. But Morgan Freeman is Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, that much we know. That much we know. But Don Freeman, in like the 60s or something, wrote and illustrated, I'm guessing. He must have been the illustrator too. And it's the most gorgeous illustrations too. This is just pen and like watercolor, I think. So I'm going to butcher this telling of this story, but this is Corduroy. Back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a little stuffed bear called Corduroy, and he had green overalls, but he was missing a button. So one day he was just sitting in the store there, and he was standing by the rabbit, and a little girl and a giraffe. And it was the 60s, so, I mean, just look at that artwork. I just love it. And so you're sitting there one day, and a little girl comes up, and she's like, "Hey, Mom, look at this teddy bear. Oh, he's just cute. Can I take him home?" And the mom was like, "Oh, come on now. I've already spent too much money. Leave that bear where he is." And I don't think he's new. He's missing a button. Anyway, let's go on home. And she's like, "Okay." And she's just cute. Kind of reminds me of Aubrey in Michael's book, Little Cutie. Yeah. And so then she walks away. And Corduroy, he looks down, and for the first time he's like, "Hey, I am missing a button. What is that?" And he's feeling kind of sad because he got passed over that little girl. He wanted to go home with the girl. So at night, when everybody else was asleep, and look at that, it's just a splash of blue and purple to make it look like night in the watercolor. He went out looking for that button. And he went up to the escalator, and he was like, "Oh, wow, what is this now? Is this a mountain? I've never been off that shelf before, but I got to find that button." And so he stepped on the escalator, and he started to ride it up. And he was like, "Oh, wow, look at this thing. I feel like Donald Trump." No. He's like, "I feel like Donald Trump running for president." And he gets to the second floor, and what's up there? It's a bunch of furniture. There's a couch and a bunch of 70s lamps and a whole row of beds. And he was like, "Oh, wow, what is this? The three little pigs, or the three bears only it's like a dozen bears. Did they go out and little whatever? So he climbs up onto the mattress there, and he's like, oh wow, there's my button. Somebody sewed it to this mattress. And he went up there to grab his button so he could fix his bib overalls, and he pulls on it, and he pulls and pulls and pulls, and it's just, it's sewed on. It takes a little tugging to get that off. But little Makwa, little bear, Makunts, we call him, little bear cub. He pulls and he falls off the mattress and he knocks over a lamp. He's like, aye, aye. And he falls down and that lamp falls. It's the smash. He makes all this noise. Well, what happens? The old mall cop. He's like, hey, what's going on down here? Mall cop comes running down looking for, I guess he was up on the 3rd floor. Because, is there a robber in here? I don't even know. So he turns on that flashlight and he's looking around. Because, man, I don't like this. I hope this place isn't haunted. Yeah. And look at that. It's 2 little bear ears. That's the artwork. It's a line and a couple of lines and splash, but we all know that's a teddy bear under a sheet, and it's genius. And then he's like, hey, what do we got here? Little teddy bear. And then you just look at that teddy bear's expression. He's got like an expression like a regular animal, that's whatever. But then he goes to sleep with the other toys. In the morning, that girl comes back and she's like, hey, guess what? I grabbed my babysitting money and my allowance and I got enough to buy you. And so she picked him up and she took him home, or she paid for him or something. And the shop clerk was like, yeah, you want this little teddy bear? Sure. He still doesn't have a button, but... And then there's a lion looking at her. Look at that. And so she goes, hey, you want a box to carry that toy home? And she goes, nope, I'll take him home in my arms. And she picks up that old bear and she just takes him home. Runs up the stairs, just happy. This is your new home, she says. I'm going to call you Corduroy. And she carries him up to her apartment. And there she is. And look how beautiful she is. Just a beautiful little girl with her teddy bear. And I'll never forget that quilt blanket. That looked so cozy when I was a little kid. And she's like, this is your new home. You're going to be my teddy bear. And that's the story of Corduroy. Oh, but then she did sew on a button. She fixed that button. And look at that little girl. She even knows how to sew buttons on. I know, and she's so smart. Yep. And you can see an expression in his face. Look how happy he is. Happy and peaceful. And then finally, the most beautiful shot of the little girl hugging a teddy bear. I just love that drawing. And so, that's Corduroy. The most beautiful little children's book. I don't know if people expected me to trash it. But by the time I was done watching that video and just looking at those cartoons, I don't know, I teared up. You old sad sap. I am a sad sap. Corduroy by Don Freeman. I hope I didn't just do a copyright strike. I think that's okay if you do a review of a book. I give Corduroy by Don Freeman 2 thumbs up. Or 5 stars. Or whatever it is, the good thing. Check out Corduroy. Huh? Yeah, I love Corduroy. What do you like better? Where the Wild Things Are or Corduroy? Before today, I would have said Where the Wild Things Are. Now, I think I prefer Corduroy. Because that guy is they're both great artists. I don't know. It's so easy to tear down pop culture now, Most things that are created suck. You think so? Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like old children's books? Heavy Flo's here, sweetie. Well, bonjour, Heavy Flo. What's going on? Call me a maple tree after winter. She's a maple tree after winter. What's the slow Flowing slow. Oh, heavy flow. That's what you are. She's like a dripping of that maple syrup. Okay, hey, Indians. Bonjour, grassroots. Hey, is grassroots here? Yep. Bonjour, grassroots Indians. How you doing? Heavy Flow says, it's easy to be mean, but it's hard to be nice. Yeah, it is. It's hard to be nice. Or it's hard, it's hard to be complimentary. I was talking to my buddy last night on the phone, and we were talking about stuff, and I go, the greatest, we're going to have to do this again pretty soon. What's that? A graduation speech. Yeah. I was watching a guy give a graduation speech years ago, and he goes, you know what? It's really easy to be anti-something, to be against something. Oh, I'm against racism. I'm anti-homophobia. I'm against, whatever. But it's much better to be for something. Don't just be against things. I'm going to tear down the patriarchy. It's like, let's be really into something. Let's find something amazing and just promote the good. Because I think that will, if you get excited about good stuff, you make that grow. But if you're always paying attention to crappy stuff, that's what I think is wrong with the news and the media. Yeah. They say where your attention goes, it grows. Or where attention flows, whatever you're looking at, you're going to make more of. Whatever you pay attention to and think about. And so if you're always focusing on the negative stuff, you're going to just make more of the negative stuff. You're going to notice, what are they teaching in kindergarten now? But instead, if you go, hey, you know what? These kids they're reading corduroy. America has had some of the greatest artists in the world in our children's literature. From Maurice Sendak, he did Where the Wild Things Are. That guy I just have been raving about, who wrote Corduroy? I don't know. Don Freeman. Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman's dad. Yeah. Morgan Freeman's dad, Don. I think he's an amazing person. But there's something that, it's like, it's sort of like nursery rhymes or your first earliest memories. Or a children's book will just bring you back to that initial thing that touched awakened your imagination. That's what I like to say sometimes. Moments in my childhood when my imagination was awakened. When it connected with you on like a spiritual level or something. Corduroy. I'm sure you can get corduroy on Amazon too, huh? Yeah. Corduroy. So there was that. Tearing up over childhood memories. What do you got going on today? Oh, I don't know. Just going to do the show. Go for a walk. Yeah, we've been pretty good with our walks these last few days. My legs and my butt were just sore last night. Yeah, I know. Me too. All that winter just sitting around, my muscles have gotten small. Yeah, my legs have gotten skinny. I'm going to walk and then my muscles are crying out, what are you trying to do? Walk? We don't do that anymore. It's like, yeah, get moving, legs. Anyway, so today is a Ojibwe language lesson. I would like to discuss what? Weren't you going to talk about the Dodeum? Oh yeah, the Anishinaabe Dodeum. The clan. 7 Clans Casino. Today's Ojibwe word of the day is brought to you by the generous contribution of the casino in Thief River Falls called 7 Clans Casino. The casinos have done more good for Anishinaabe people than anything since the boarding schools. What are you talking about? I don't know. Actually, this show is not sponsored by 7 Clans Casino. 7 Clans Casino has given us Jack for Junia. Yeah, you hear me, Seven Clans? Oh, yeah. Ooh, we care so much about the culture and our language. But are we going to give a dime to Nanabuju? Nope. Why are you mad at Seven Clans Casino? I don't know. I was thinking that maybe this summer we should start looking for, sponsors. And you think if you chew out the casinos, they might want to sponsor us? Yeah, I'm going to kind of bully them into sponsoring us. But just think about it. If you're sponsoring us, I could say, today's Ojibwe language, culture, and culture lesson is brought to you by the warriors at the Seven Clans Casino. Because, and they're not, but you know what I'm saying. Seven Clans Casino. La-di-da-di-da-da. Hoka-hey, hoka-hey. All right, some of you might be asking, what clan? What is this, a Ku Klux Klan? That guy has gone too far this time. No. Yeah, it's one thing to have Adolf Hitler on your show, Nanabuju, but when you start talking about the Ku Klux Klan, that's when I gotta draw a line. No, this isn't the Ku Klux Klan. This is the Seven Clans of the Anishinaabe. Lots of time a person will come up to you and he'll say, what's your clan? In the Ojibwe way, we got our family, and we got our million cousins, and then we got our cousins who aren't really cousins, but they grew up with our grandparents, and so we think of them as cousins. And then, there's a whole extended Indian family. But part of that goes back to the clan system. Anishinaabe had 7 clans, and the clan was kind of like your club that you're part of. Oh, wow, John Redcorn from the Redcorn clan. That's right. Miigwech, John. Got a super chat from John. Miigwech, John. Yeah, so like John's from the Redcorn clan, the clan of vegetables. They're a very nutritious clan, the people in that clan. But in our clan, we've got the, where is it? Ajijak. Ajijak means a crane. The Ajijak. And the crane, so basically your clan would be sort of this club that your family was born into. And I'm pretty sure it follows your dad. Does it follow your dad's family or your mom's? I'm not really sure. Missy will know. Missy, does your clan, do you go by your dad's side or your mom's? I guess you might know. But anyway. Nindo Dam. Ajijak. Yeah, Papa Wagosh. Bonjour, Papa Wagosh. Hey, Papa Wagosh. Papa Wagosh, his Dodam is Ajijak. And the basically anybody from the bird clan, because loons are birds. But, oh yeah, the Beneshi, birds, I'm sorry. Birds are the spiritual leaders. Ajijak, the crane, is like the chiefs. So leadership. Is basic leadership. Oh, so your clan, a lot of these guys, you can it's kind of like having a family horoscope. Yeah. It sort of tells you something about the jobs your family would have had. A lot of times, people's personalities will be kind of found in their clans, like Muckwa. So then we got Muckwa, the bear. Bear clan. Everybody kind of knows a bear clan person. Muckwa, they're the protectors and the healers. So a lot of medicine people they come from the Muckwa clan. They get, the grandparents kind of pass down the knowledge of, what chaga tea will do for you. Which medicines are good to treat ailments, the healers. Sometimes a person from the bear clan will go into medicine. You have people going into becoming doctors and that. And a lot of these guys become military guys. They say they're the protectors. The bear patrols the perimeter of the Indian village. And it always seemed like they were guarding the Anishinaabe. What they probably were doing is just waiting to, eat their garbage. But bears were always kind of, patrolling the outer places where Anishinaabe were. So a lot of cops and veterans. Ogichida. The Ajijak would be the Ogamas, the chiefs, and the Makwas would be the Ogichidas, the warriors, and the healers. The Mushkiki Winini, the medicine men. But then there's a Hmong, the loon. Very old bird. What do loons do? Loons are chieftainship. I guess you can be a chief if you're a loon too. Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking. I thought all birds were sort of chief clan. Because within these clans, you might have, like some people are from Eagle Clan. And they go, what? But you're part of the Benesi, the birds, the bird clan. This is a picture of a Migizi. So some people are like Migizi clan, Eagle Clan. I'm not sure how that works. But these are the 7 basic clans. Then you got your Gigu. That's where I am. I'm an Awasasi Nindodeum. I'm from the Bullhead clan. The little black fish, kind of like a catfish. Yep. Sometimes people think bullhead? What, like a bull? Like, no. This is a fish. And a Gagoon, Dodam, the fish clan, these are the intellectuals and the mediators. That's why I'm so smart. No. You don't think I'm smart? You're a smart aleck. Nah. Gagoon. Intellectuals. So a lot of times Gagoon clan, they'll become the teachers. Or sometimes they're just the the potheads who philosophize. Nah. Sometimes. So anyway, the Gigoons are like into ideas. I also heard that sometimes they're good speakers, which I'm hoping is true because I speak every day on this podcast. And then you got your Wabish. I knew I was going to screw this up. Wabi Jeshi. Wabi Jeshi. Wabi Jeshi. Wabi Jeshi is the Martin clan. And they look like a little weasel, but these are fierce, dangerous. They say Wabi Jeshi can take down a deer. These are the warriors and the hunters and the providers. Pretty underrated clan. These are the tough guys. They're the warriors. They're the ones who go off to war. Ogichida. But they're also the hunters. I mean, everybody's a hunter in the Indian way, but these guys were like gifted with it. And so they were the ones who would bring, feed. I think later on, those hunters also became, they're probably also the ricers and farmers and whatever. Providers. These are the guys that go out and bring in the food. Which finally leaves Wawashgeshi. Wawashgeshi. They spell it different than northern Leech Lake, but Wawashgeshi is a deer. And these are the gentle people and the reconcilers. Lots of Wawashgeshi people are sometimes like medicine people, like people put on sweat lodges, or teachers too. But that clan are kind of known for also the people who could, I don't want to say politicians because they're so corrupt. But, leaders in a way, but the people who would create community, they would also in the old ways, they used to say the uncles were in charge of disciplining the children. And you got in trouble, your dad would send you to your uncle for your punishment. But Wawashgeshi is also a reconciler. Two people are fighting, and they're the ones who can figure out a way to make it right again. to bury the hatchet, to make friends when you used to be enemies. And so this was just kind of I don't know. Clans were a big deal. They used to tell us to don't marry somebody from your own clan. You can't marry your cousin, and you can't marry a clan member. I've known a lot of old Indian ladies tell me I can't marry a non-Indian too. I don't know how that's not racist. You gotta marry a good Indian woman, that's what they say. I know. So, they really kind of make sure, okay, don't marry your cousin. Don't marry someone from your own clan. Can I marry someone from my own tribe? If you're not related, and good luck. That's why I think so many people married those French fur traders when they came to town. Yeah, probably. A lot of people want to kind of, racism. Oh, the white man, he just put his thumb on us, And then we kind of forget, yeah, except we couldn't wait to marry, at least the ladies, those voyageurs or whatever, the French fur traders. We did a lot of trading and then intermarrying as quickly as we could way back in the day. We didn't wait for, Were there laws in America about interracial marriage? I think it used to be outlawed for black people and white people. Was it really? I say that, but now that I say that, I don't know. I don't know if it was ever illegal for... I feel like maybe they did have to pass a law saying it was okay to marry somebody outside of your race. But that doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. But in any case, Indian people didn't wait for any permission. We were... we come from a long line of people who fell in love with somebody outside of their clan and tribe and race. Our ancestors were not racist against white people. We co-opted a lot of their culture. Yeah, we did. You like your beadwork? Oh, look at this authentic Indian beadwork. Well, you can thank the French fur traders for those glass beads. We used to have to do everything in bone or, porcupine quill. Ajijak, crane. Mong, loon. Makwa is a bear. Kigu is a fish. Wabisheshi. Nope. Wabisheshi. Wabisheshi. Can't talk. Is a marten. Wabishkeshi is a deer. Beneshin is a bird. Beneshin. Or Benesi. I thought Benesi was a thunderbird. Benes. Benes is a thunderbird. Benesi is I might be wrong. Beneshin is a bird. Misqua Benes. Yeah, Benes is thunderbird. Anyway, to learn more about Seven Clans Casino, go to the I don't know, Thief River Falls or wherever. I've actually never been there. Yeah, you have. Oh yeah, I have. I've never gambled there. I don't really like gambling. I don't got that itch. I don't care enough about winning money for nothing. And I've always found there's something kind of, I don't know, I'm probably going to insult some people here. I always found there's something kind of embarrassing about playing a slot machine. Just sitting up there I don't know why, just pushing a button. Hope I win some money. Bing, 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 bing. The one thing you're going to win in there is secondhand cancer. People still smoking up a storm in casinos. I just don't know sometimes. But that's all I had to say about that, sweetie. You got any questions? I don't got any questions. I feel like the show's not very funny today. Well, it's pretty informative. Okay. What's going on with you guys? Wally Bear's here. Hey, bonjour, Wally Bear. Wally Bear says Falcon is my totem, so to speak. He's from the Bird Clan, the Falcon. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No, wait, who's the Falcon? Falcon, isn't that... Was Captain America's sidekick the Falcon? That's what I wanted to say. But now that I say that, I don't remember. Why don't they call the Winter Soldier the Falcon? Because that black guy's the Falcon. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the guy... I've actually never seen that. I mean, I saw all the other movies, but the last... Avengers? Yeah. Avengers. La-dee-da. Hoka hey. Is sending the children to a casino? Wait. What are you guys talking about? You almost missed a great show. Has kept me quiet. Hey, I'm Jay. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? I don't know anyone. How do you recognize me? Oh, everybody knows Heavy Flow. She's famous. Sequoia Hummingbird, do you live in Montreal? Another thing that made me sentimental, speaking of Montreal, that's in Canada, right? Yeah. Watched that old Rush concert this morning, too. I get up really early. Watched a whole Rush concert from the 80s. Wow. I know, I love Rush. Begin the day with a friendly voice. But when it comes to Canada, I was thinking about this, I have stereotypes of Canada. But when you can compare the stereotypes of the lower United States to the stereotypes of Canadians, there's just no comparison. People think of Americans as like being like Kim Kardashian and just the worst of every extreme. We're Kim Kardashian and we're Bubba Redneck from Mississippi and we're materialistic, dumb, uncultured, all the things Americans can be. Gun-loving, crass, sports, rock and roll, cars, whatever. That's America, and the world sees us. America sees us as kind of like being a cross between Donald Trump and somebody really poor, Michael. And so, but a Canadian, my stereotypes of those guys are great music, Rush, Bryan Adams. You think Bryan Adams is great? Good enough. I mean, I wouldn't buy one of his albums, but he seems like a nice guy. Zebra, Triumph, great three-member bands, whatever. And this one stereotype, being nice. You think that's a Canadian stereotype? For sure. Canadians start a sentence with, sorry. Oh, sorry. You walk into an elevator. Oh, sorry. Can I get the button? Can I push the button for you? Sorry. Sorry. Just wanted to come up and introduce myself. I am a Canadian. And I will do anything for you. Okay. I mean, it can't be that bad of a place if the stereotype is that they're nice. People don't have that stereotype of China or Africa or anywhere else. But Canadians are like, they're nice people. Don't lock their doors. But I was watching Rush and thinking of Canadians. And thinking of Neil Peart. And thinking about the spirit of the radio. We sang this yesterday. in a day with a friendly voice. Wait-a-hey-a-hey-a. Plays that song that's so elusive. Wait-a-hey-a, wait-a-hey-a, wait-a-ho. For the words of the prophets were written on a studio wall. Concert hall. Huh, sweetie? Yeah. All right. I got nothing to say today. Do you want to get up here? Yeah, let me get up there. I'm going to let Natasha talk. I don't know. Doing all that talking about clans and children's books. I don't know. I'm not feeling very funny. You don't have to be funny every day. Don't I? Nope. You could just be you. Can I just be me? If I can be me, and you can be you, and we can be we, what a world it would be. If I can be you, and you can be me, and we can be we, what fun it will be. Are you trying to write a song? Trying to remember a song, but I don't remember what it was. Get up! All right. Up next, the lovely and talented Natasha. But first, here's a great song. This one's called 1,000 Years. Miigwech Bizendawieg. Thank you for listening. Let me see. Heartbeat fast, colors and promises. How to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid to fall, but watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. Stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave. I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. All along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me, and I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. Step closer. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. Love you for 1,000 more. long I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me, and I have loved you for 1,000 years. I've loved you for 1,000 years. You know, you look pretty good for your age. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Bonjour. Natasha Nindisha Nakaz. Neiman Wyndham G-A-I-N. Oma Nungum. I'm happy to be here today on this Nano Geisha Good. On this fifth day to Friday. I just read something really funny. What did Papa Magosh say about Minnesota? In Minnesota, it gets so cold that you can eat soft serve directly from the udder. And then what was the other one? I heard Minnesota residents are very excited. Rumors going around that summer may fall on a weekend this year. The summer may be on a weekend. Oh, keep your fingers crossed. It's going to be a good summer. That 2-day summer we all get in Minnesota. La-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Nancy Schmancy is just catching up on chat. Sequoia always so wise with her words. Sequoia. Hey, Nancy. Papa Ogo says, this song always makes me happy and sad. I know, huh? What is that? Like, things that bring tears to my eyes. I like that feeling. You like being depressed? Well, it's not depressed. It's just being moved or something. I think you get like a dopamine hit from things which make you cry. Like, do you ever just go on YouTube and I'll just plug in like soldiers returning home to their pets, or soldiers surprising their daughters at Christmas or whatever. And you'll see like some veteran come home and just walk up behind his grandma and hi, or whoever. And, you know, this beautiful music in the background, Coldplay is playing. And I'm sitting there just weeping over YouTube videos of people just, you know, having a real life and real emotions, and not just looking at other people's lives like me. Yeah. I don't live in Connecticut, but that river runs close by, and it sure does. Yeah, a river runs through it. La-di-da-di-da-di-dum. I have loved you for 1,000. I knew what you were talking about yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about love, Zaga, Ediwin. And we were talking about Majaway. Make love. But yesterday Nana Bujo was talking about how this feeling you get sometimes when you look at your pet. Once in a while, I'll just look at Bagheera. This is Bagheera, by the way. Bagheera's our cat, right? And sometimes, you know, granted, this is a pretty common cat. Just your run-of-the-mill, black, lazy cat, right? But I just love him. And I'll just look at him once in a while, and I'll get this feeling, like butterflies in my stomach. I think you put it well yesterday. A tickling in my elbows. And I start giggling and smiling, and I don't even know what I'm laughing about. He's just sitting there, and I just get this giddy, happy feeling. And I think that's the chemical and emotional, spiritual, physical feeling of Zaga Edi Win, of love. You know, you don't really choose. Love is not. I mean, I guess you can you choose to love somebody? Can you choose to love somebody? Can you choose to be attracted to somebody? I don't know. These are some pretty basic questions. Can you choose to love somebody? And then do you honestly love them later? Or does love just kind of happen to you? And you're like, and I can't escape it. I'm a slave to love, slave to love. Remember that? No. You don't remember that song? Slave to love, la 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 la. Oh, is that what's his face from Roxy Music? Yeah. What's his face? That whole album is great. And I can't tell her I'll be waiting in the usual place. Da 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 da. Love songs, man. Anyway, do you choose? Do you like see somebody who's like, oh, you know, that's an attractive person and they have a good job, good values, come from a good family. It just makes sense that I should love that person. So I choose, excuse me, sir, I love you. You know. Or does it just happen because you can't help it? That's what happened to me with you. Oh, sweetie, not in front of the children. You know? Hey, will you do me a favor? Sure. Will you teleport me out to the Agua Ching? Yeah, sure. I'm going to go Agua Ching. I'm going to go outside. All right, hang on. I'm going to scan for your coordinates. Well, silly, I'm standing right here. Oh, yeah, okay. And then, let's see, 1 to teleport outside. Okay, you ready? Yep. Make it so, number 1. Nah. Oh, wow. Wow. You really chose a pretty spot this morning. Oh, there's mountains back there. Nice. I wonder if that's the Colorado Rockies. What's a John Denver song? All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. And I'm standing here by the Rocky Mountains. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. But John Denver is dead and gone. He drove a plane into that mountain probably. And now he's just a ghost up in heaven, beyond. So kiss me and smile for me. Pretty sacrilegious, I guess. Asema, the sacred mushkiki of the Anishinaabe, the sacred medicine. We use this tobacco not just to smoke. It's for more than just your cigarettes. This tobacco you can offer to the Great Spirit when you pray. All you gotta do is say, Gitchi Manadu, Great Spirit, Utapanan Niwi Asema, accept my tobacco. You could just leave it at that. Sometimes I just say, accept my tobacco, and I put it out. Like if I'm gonna go on a car ride or something, please give me a good journey, accept my tobacco. But I always start with that. I usually thank him for stuff, Miigwech Gitchi Manadu. Thank you, Great Spirit. Kaishi kakina geku, kaishi chike anungum. For everything that you do today. Miigwech kaishi gijikak. Thank you for this life. Wow, gijikak, this life. Wow. Thank you for, or this day. I'm sorry, gijikak, his day. Miigwech Bamadazian. Thank you for my life. Miigwech Gake Nin Gashgandamoan. Thank you for healing my grief. Oh, good grief. Thank you for healing my grief. If you've ever lost somebody or gone through some sort of traumatic, depressing place, if you ever entered the abyss, if you ever been down, ever gone through hell, You know what it's like to have gush cane to moan, to have a language of sadness, grief. And it can keep you from being able to get out of bed. It can make you not care about anything. It can rob you of being able to love. But if you pray for healing, that's kind of a big thing for Gitchimanu. He likes to heal. But you gotta ask. In the Gagikwe Mazina Igun, in the Preach book, the Bible, Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. His words, not mine. So I think it's okay to ask, say, hey, Gitchimanu, will you please heal me? Heal me, Gage. Healing. Gage. Maybe you need... When I get that feeling, I need sexual healing. I need Majoe, Gage. No, I need, maybe you need healing, like spiritual healing. Maybe your grief has hurt your spirit. Maybe your grief has hurt your mind. You can't think straight, can't remember, can't stop thinking about it, can't move forward, can't go back. You can ask your creator. He made you. You know, he can adjust you. Go, creator, Gitchimanu. I'm sick. I'm out of balance. Akkozi, out of balance. Some people are out of balance because they're overweight. Some people are out of balance because they got Lyme's disease. Some people are out of balance because they got the COVID. You know? And some of us are out of balance because our hearts are broken. Well, it's okay. You can ask the creator just to, super glue your heart back together. And I can hear some of you right now going, well, what happens if you just gave away your heart and you don't have one anymore? Well, just like the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz, ask the creator to bring your heart back. Even that. Say, Gitchimanu, I gave my heart away, and they broke it. Now I don't have a heart. Well, maybe he'll give you a new one. Like the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz. Hey, are these poppy fields? I hope not. Remember that in the Wizard of Oz when they were got through the woods? We're out of the woods, we're out of the la-la-la-dee-dee-dum. And they end up in a poppy field. And then they all get high and fall asleep. They just slouch out in their opioid dream state until it starts to snow. Like the snow on the top of the mountain. Well, they wake up and they go into the Emerald City. We're out of the woods, we're out of the la-la-dee-dee-dee-dum. Excuse me. But, yeah. La 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 la. Ruby says, pretty sure those are lupines. Oh, is that what they're called? Lupines? Is that a kind of, lilac? There's a story about me when I was a little girl. I went missing for 10 minutes. My mom was like, where is she? She looked around and she's like, oh no, somebody abducted my child. No. But then she saw underneath the lilac bushes, I just fell asleep. Crawled in there, fell asleep on the ground underneath the lilac bushes, and they couldn't see me. There's something about lilacs that just knocks me out. It's like a drug or something. I wonder what would happen if I smoked lilacs. Probably fall asleep. But I don't need your guilt. I'm too busy crafting this quilt. I don't need your guilt. I'm just crafting a quilt. Missy B says, my whole life has been unbalanced. Yeah, me too, sister. This is good medicine you're telling. Oh, thank you. Don't think I could make it without his guidance. Yeah, you know. Oh, I don't know if I want to say this. It'll make me cry. I've got a really sometimes wise older brother. Sometimes he just says stuff in a way that sums it all up. And I'm thinking about this thing he said once. And it made me cry at the time. I don't know if I can say it without crying. It's not sad. It's happy. But after my cat died, I got real religious. Started reading the Bible. Started praying all the time. I mean, I would still pray, put out tobacco and pray in Ojibwe and stuff. But, I had been sort of anti-Christian for a lot of years. And when my heart broke, I don't know, picked up that Bible again, started praying. And my brother is like, I don't think he's an atheist, but he's like a college professor. And he doesn't, I'm a simple, small town girl with simple ideas and beliefs. He's a very complicated person. So I was a little embarrassed to tell him that I'd become religious. And I was writing to him on Facebook, and I was like, yeah, actually, I've really started to get into my spiritual side, my religion and stuff. And I go, I know, maybe it's a crutch. I was a little embarrassed, to admit that I believed in God, and I believed in prayer, and I was open-minded to the Bible. It's like, yeah, I don't know, I'm going to quit disbelieving in this stuff. Maybe it's real. What did Jesus say? And he goes, yeah, well, the thing about crutches is they help you walk. I was like, yeah, maybe it is a crutch, but I sometimes need help walking. I don't know why I suddenly got so sad. It's too beautiful out here. It brings a tear to me eye. It brings a tear to me cold, dead heart. Nah. I don't know. Papa Gosh says, I think it's Anama A Maziniigan, a prayer book. Is whatever works for you. If it helps, it is good. Miigwech, Papa Wagosh. Yeah, Anama A Gijagat, the prayer book. Is that what they call the Bible? I've been calling it the Gagi Kwe, the preach book, but you don't have to preach from it, you just can pray from it. Well, but that kind of change in my attitude in life and stuff is sort of what, when Nana Bouge was talking about don't be anti something, be pro something. I want to be into something, and I don't just want to be anti stuff. I want to be really into, I want to notice what's really great. Instead of always focusing on what's tragic. Oh, I just can't believe how beautiful it is out here. But I suppose I should go back. Boop. Okay, Boujou. Hi, sweetie. Well, hey, Natasha, what are you doing? Crying in front of the Boujou crew? Why are you crying? Because I remembered what stupid Scott said. Your brother? Yeah. Yeah, he is stupid. I know. He's the smartest stupid guy I've ever known. You ready to come home? Yeah. Could you teleport me back? Yeah, you got it. All right, I'm scanning for your coordinates. Okay. 1 to teleport. Make it so, number 1. Hey. Hi. You okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Why were you crying? I don't know, I got all emotional. It was probably that stupid 1,000-Year song and all those pets. Yeah. I started talking about Scott and religion. I don't know. I never know what's going to happen to me. Sometimes my emotions... Oh, I must be on my moon. You think you're on your moon? Yeah, it must be that time of the month. I'm all emotional. I could cry just at the drop of a hat. Nah, just kidding. Anyway, what are you smiling at? Oh, nothing. You're funny. Michael Lyons, you guys. You want me to sell one of your books? Would you mind? Not at all. Hey, everyone. If you'd like to support the show, we have links in the description. You can click the link to support the show on Patreon, PayPal, or GoFundMe, or all three, I guess, if you're rich. Big miigwech to everyone who's been supporting us with that sweet Junia money. No, I shouldn't say that. But we do appreciate it. Really, really thank you. Oh, wow, Surrealist just gave us $20, sweetie. Okay, miigwech, Surrealist. Thank you so much. Good old Surrealist. And we accept super chats like Surrealist. Just did. During the live stream. I don't think you can do it unless you're here with us live. But Michael has books for sale on Amazon.com. Books like Little Cutie. Yeah, look at this for a second. Doesn't she kind of remind you of that girl in Corduroy? Let's see where... There she is. Let me pause that right there. There's the little girl from Corduroy. And there's Michael's teddy bear and main human character. Influenced much? Yeah, no kidding. But Corduroy is not by Michael Lyons. What is by Michael Lyons is Little Cutie, a teddy bear's vision quest. But a teddy bear who goes on an adventure kind of like Corduroy. But instead of going upstairs in a department store, he goes outside. And he meets the Great Spirit, and he meets an alien, and he meets a bunch of animals. But you can order that on Amazon.com. And unless you got anything you want to add, I'm going to land this puppy. Okay. Hey everyone. Miigwech bizendawieg. Dash miigwech ganawabieg. Thank you for listening. And thank you for watching Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha, the big fat crybaby. Ah, you're not fat. Hey. You're a crybaby. This is Nana Boozhoo. Okay, miigwech. This is Michael Lyons. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Minawa. Oh. All right, sweetie. I'm ready to go. 1 to teleport. See you tomorrow. Make it so, number 1. Nah. down the bed. Turn down these voices inside my head. Lay down with me, tell me no lies. Just hold me closely and don't patronize. Don't patronize me. 'Cause I can make you love me. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark, in these final hours, I will lay down my heart. I'll feel the power that you don't. No, you won't. 'Cause I can make you love me. If you don't, if you don't, I'll close my eyes, then I won't see the love you don't feel when you're holding me. Morning will come, I'll do what's right, la-dee-dee-dum, and I'll give up this fight. 'Cause I can make you love me if you don't. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark, in these final hours, I will lay down my heart, and I feel the power that you don't. No, you won't. 'Cause I can make you love me. If you don't, if you don't, if you don't, if you don't. Oh, Michael, you're just, I don't know what to say, you're a virtuoso. Ladies and gentlemen, on the guitar, Michael.